Our digital reporter Jeff Keeling has kept crunching those numbers on COVID vaccination trends in the region, but he's also keeping up with the journey on a personal level. We met, you'll remember, Anita Sewell of Johnson City about 2 weeks ago when she was anxiously awaiting word back from the Washington County Health Department. Well, they called her Tuesday, and she has a good report after a visit to Freedom Hall yesterday.
We arrived at 12 o'clock, and within a half hour, we had the injection and went to the parking lot for 15 minutes to see if I had a reaction, which I didn't.
Jeff, that is certainly encouraging, a good outcome. What are your takeaways from the rest of your conversation with Ms. Sewell?
Well, a couple things. First, Sarah, I get the sense that the health departments are really getting this down, and it's pretty efficient. Anita said everything was very organized. She called about 3 weeks ago. My guess is once her name hit the top part of the list, they called her, she showed up, and it ran like clockwork. She said she saw National Guard staff, police, and a sheriff's officer, so very secure and orderly.
And that's great news for her. What's your other takeaway here? That account, obviously, a positive one. Good to hear. And I know that we've heard from a lot of others wondering what is going on with the Northeast Tennessee regional office counties.
Yeah, well, here's what I think's going on. I mean, they're developing efficient systems. They're rolling through their waiting lists as they get vaccine. That's my second takeaway, as they get the vaccine. Remember the agonizing wait for Christmas when you were a kid? And that's the way it seems to be going right now for everybody when it comes to the vaccine supply pipeline, from the states to the health departments, right down to everyday people.
Okay, so let's talk numbers. I know you've got them, Jeff. I know you've been working hard. So let's start with the state of Tennessee.
All right. So Tennessee got a bump this week from 80,000 weekly to 93,000 first doses a week. And Health Commissioner Lisa Piercy said that's the promised allocation for the next 3 weeks. That, my friend, is only 1.36% of Tennessee's population. So if we can look at graphic 1, that breaks down the percentage of people who have gotten at least the first dose in Tennessee, Northeast Tennessee, and all our local counties. And what stands out to you there, Sarah?
Well, we're kind of ahead of the pack here, so should we be counting our blessings? Every little positive thing's a good thing.
We are ahead of the pack. It's hard to count your blessings sometimes during stressful times like this one, but you know what? It might be good medicine for people. If you look at the far left, you see that Washington, Unicoi, and Sullivan counties are near the lead among Tennessee's 95 counties. They're all in the top 10, and in the middle, in red, you've got the region as a whole at 10.7%. That's 44% better than the state average, which you see in orange all the way to the right. But do you notice anything else?
13% isn't a very high number, especially what you were saying about the state supply.
Right. There are some slight variations in supplies to counties based on their vulnerabilities. You can read about that in my story, but because of age and income and population health. But if you took Washington County by straight population, it would get 1,762 doses a week for the next 3 weeks, okay?
Okay, it doesn't sound like too much, but what percentage with the first dose should we be talking about 3 weeks from now at this rate?
Well, you're turning me, Sarah, into what Grima Wormtongue called Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings, laugh spell, ill news. But here's your answer. 17.2%. It's kind of a drip, drip, drip pace right now.
Yeah, so with the current supply, how long do you think it's going to take for Washington County to reach 70% of the population with this first dose so we can kind of start thinking about what some are calling herd immunity? And with that, what happens to that timeline if supply doubled or, gosh, even tripled?
Yay, math. All right, let's pull graphic 2. So if allocation is purely by population, and it's pretty close, it would take 292 days to get to 70% first doses in Washington County. That's about Thanksgiving. Double it, and today, and then we would be there in 146 days. That's just in time for the 4th of July. Triple supply, and you're talking around May 12th. So you can see what a difference it will make how things play out at a federal and a manufacturing level.
Okay, so Jeff, we don't have much time left. Can you tell us quickly about Virginia?
Sure. If you'll throw up graphic 3 real quick. Given the supply limitations, encouraging figures there too. They're also leading the state. Virginia supplies about 120,000 a week, but you can see that Southwest Virginia also about 40% higher than the state as a whole. So they're still doing well, also relatively speaking.
Great information, Jeff. Thank you so much. You can find a lot more information from digital reporter Jeff Keeling on our website, WJHL.com.